Hey guys, it's Shadow the Rat, and for today's video, I want to talk about the last of my 5 newest rats, and that is my girl Pumpkin Seed. So I wasn't supposed to get this rat because even though she comes from the same breeder as my other 4 newest rats, I was not supposed to get that many rats from them. In fact, I was actually only supposed to get 2 rats from them to begin with. But then that ended up turning into 3 because I specifically wanted dwarfs, and they thought they had 3 dwarfs. And then unfortunately that third one ended up passing away before pickup date. So they offered me 2 other rats to choose from, and me being a big rat lover with a huge cage and more than enough stuff for, a huge group of rats, I just went ahead and took both of those rats, so I ended up coming home with 4 rats. Well, they were all supposed to be dwarf rats, and the reason I wanted dwarf rats is because dwarf rats are very resistant to certain types of cancers, including the most common type of cancer found in rats, especially intact female rats. And that is mammary tumors. And as someone who mainly has intact female rats, I really wanted more dwarf rats because I've already had 4 dwarf rats and none of them had any mammary tumors. So that's why I wanted to get dwarfs. But unfortunately, as it turns out, 3 of the 4 rats I got from this breeder were actually standards. And of course, once I figured out that these girls were standards, I already knew that I wanted to keep them. Like, I wasn't going to exchange them or anything like that. But I felt kind of uncomfortable having just 1 dwarf because one of the 4 girls is a dwarf, and that's my girl Jellybean. Now, I should make it clear that all of my dwarfs do live with my standards, no problem, but I just feel more comfortable with the dwarf rats having at least 1 other dwarf buddy. And even though I technically have another dwarf, which is my senior dwarf girl Toast, she is quite old, and so I can't expect her to be around for all of Jellybean's life, which is why I wanted another young dwarf girl. Anyways, once I realized that 3 of the 4 girls were standards, I ended up contacting the breeder and asking if it would be possible for me to get a dwarf rat from one of their established dwarf lines, basically, like that I knew for sure was going to be a dwarf. And that is exactly what happened. They actually had a litter of dwarfs, which were just not old enough to come home yet. They were only a few weeks old, but basically they let me pick from those dwarfs, and that is how I got my girl Pumpkin Seed. She was the dwarf I picked from that litter. And a few weeks later, when she was 8 weeks old, we scheduled a pickup, and I wasn't able to get her right away because, as luck would have it, the day before I was supposed to pick up Pumpkin Seed, I got rear-ended. So my car was not usable. So unfortunately, we had to push the pickup date about a week. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. Once I got her, I came home with her, and I don't actually have her living with my main group yet. I separated off 2 of my 6-month-old girls, Cracker and Crumb, and I have them living with Pumpkin Seed. And it might seem a little weird to have them living with her instead of my other younger rats that I got from the same breeder. But the reason I have them living with her is because they are very chill towards other rats. I don't know how else to put it. Like, they're super energetic rats, but they have 0 interest in pushing around any other rats. So when I first got Pumpkin Seed, she was very confident with me, but she was very wary of the other rats. Like, she would act very defensive and go into that little T-Rex pose, and she would squeak loudly at them if they came near her. So she was clearly very stressed by them, and that just comes with, adjusting to a new place and having to adjust to a lot more adult rats that are way bigger than you. And she was acting that way, especially towards my younger girls that I got from the same breeder. I'm not sure if it's just because they're more energetic and pushy or what, but anyway, she kind of latched on to Cracker and Crumb because they kind of just didn't show much interest in her. Like, they sniffed her a few times and were like, cool. So anyways, I decided to just keep her with them because I know I can trust them with her, and I know that she really likes them, and they are very close now. They always snuggle up. It's very cute. They're always sleeping in the space pod together. But anyways, they live in the top third of my cage, so they live in a double critter nation currently. And my other girls all live in my quad. But once I finish bonding the entire group, I will open up the cage and they'll get access to all the units again. And I will say that Pumpkin Seed has made a ton of progress with my other rats. She's actually quite confident around them all now. The main issue is my girl Raisin, who I've talked about before, but unfortunately Raisin is really bad at intros. She's not as bad as some of my prior rats, but she's not great at them. So I have to be very careful when introducing her, especially to a dwarf rat that is only the size of her head. Now, I have done a lot of intros with Raisin, and they've all been successful. So I know how to do a successful intro with her and a safe one, but it does take some time because she is unfortunately quite pushy and can get aggressive during intros if you're not careful. She just gets overwhelmed very easily by new rats and then starts escalating in her behavior. But anyways, I have made progress with her and Pumpkin Seed as well. They can free range together most of the time. I just have to keep an eye on them, of course. And if Raisin starts to escalate, I always make sure to put an end to that and make sure that they have a generally very positive experience. And yeah, they're getting better together. At this point, I'm really just waiting for Raisin to fully adjust to Pumpkin Seed because everyone else is fine with her. So once Raisin adjusts, we will have everyone living together. But yeah, for now, I have her living with Crumb and Cracker, and I have everyone else living together, and then I do joint free ranges, and that's how it will be until Raisin shows me that I can trust her with Pumpkin Seed. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's been. Pumpkin Seed herself is a very sweet rat, and she's also very confident. She's especially great with humans. She really loves to be around you and play with you, and she especially loves to sit on your shoulder as well, which is super cute. She's also a very bouncy rat. She loves to popcorn around the play area, and she loves the other rats as well. She's always trying to go up and make friends with them and play with them, which is super funny because she's so tiny. But yeah, she's just a really great rat, and she's a lot of fun to train with as well. I haven't done much training with her at this point. We've only worked on spin and paw, but she is super cute doing these tricks, and she really enjoys training time. And she's also extremely food motivated, which is another nice thing because it means motivating her is very easy. But yeah, she's an awesome rat, and I can't wait to get to know her more. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to go ahead and introduce you guys to her, and expect to see more of her in the future. So yeah, I will see you guys next time, and I hope you enjoyed getting to meet Miss Pumpkin Seed. Bye!